Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nation's chief health strategist, recently appeared before House and Senate committees. This appearance was highly anticipated. Kennedy has a history of expressing skepticism about vaccines. However, his tone during the hearings was notably different. He refrained from sharing personal opinions on vaccines. "I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me," Kennedy stated. He instead deferred to the directors of the NIH and CDC. This marked a departure from his previous public statements. Kennedy has often questioned the safety and efficacy of vaccines. His more cautious approach raised eyebrows. Some saw it as a strategic move to avoid further controversy. Others wondered if his views had genuinely evolved. When questioned about his own children's vaccinations, Kennedy was evasive. He admitted he probably vaccinated them for measles. But he quickly emphasized that his personal choices were irrelevant. He directed inquiries about vaccine risks and benefits to the NIH director. He specifically requested information based on replicable studies. This cautious approach did little to quell concerns. Kennedy's history of promoting vaccine hesitancy cast a long shadow. His testimony left many wondering about his true stance on this critical public health issue. The ambiguity surrounding his position only added to the ongoing debate about vaccine safety and efficacy. Alongside his vaccine stance, Kennedy's testimony focused on significant workforce cuts at the Department of Health and Human Services, or HHS. These cuts resulted in approximately 10,000 layoffs. Several institutes and centers were consolidated. When factoring in retirements and resignations, the HHS workforce is expected to shrink by about 25%. Kennedy defended these cuts as necessary for efficiency. He insisted that key health programs would remain unaffected. These included vital research at the NIH. Head Start, Medicare, and Medicaid were also slated to continue. His goal, he claimed, was to do more with less. However, critics argue that such deep cuts are dangerous. They question whether the remaining staff can handle the workload. Concerns are growing about potential disruptions to essential services. These services range from disease surveillance to food safety inspections. The impact of these workforce reductions is still unfolding. Many fear that the consequences could be far-reaching. Reduced staffing could lead to delays in research and development. It could also hinder the government's ability to respond effectively to public health emergencies. Kennedy's testimony ignited a firestorm of criticism. Public health experts expressed deep concern over his reluctance to offer clear guidance on vaccines. They argued that, as the nation's top health official, it was his responsibility to provide clear and accurate information. Some pointed to instances where Kennedy appeared to recommend unproven remedies for measles. This further fueled concerns about his commitment to evidence-based medicine. His ambiguous stance on vaccines contradicted years of scientific consensus. Democratic lawmakers also voiced their concerns. They questioned Kennedy's ability to maintain program effectiveness with a significantly reduced workforce. They expressed particular worry about the impact on programs like lead poisoning prevention and minor safety research. These programs, they argued, were already understaffed and underfunded. Representative DeLauro directly challenged Kennedy's authority to implement cuts that contradicted congressional budget allocations. "You do not have the authority to do what you are doing," she stated. This set the stage for a potential legal battle over the HHS budget. Kennedy's testimony came amidst a worrying measles outbreak. The outbreak surpassed 1,000 cases, leading to 92 hospitalizations and 2 deaths. Kennedy defended the HHS's response, claiming the CDC was performing better than any other nation. However, this comparison drew sharp criticism. Representative DeLauro pointed out that Kennedy was comparing the U.S. to the entire Austro-European region. This region includes countries with significantly lower vaccination rates. She argued that a fairer comparison would be to Western European countries like Great Britain, which reported no measles deaths. The recent measles outbreak highlights the importance of vaccination. It also underscores the dangers of spreading misinformation about vaccine safety. Kennedy's conflicting statements on the measles vaccine only add to the confusion. The debate surrounding RFK Jr.'s leadership and policies is far from over. His congressional testimony raised more questions than it answered. His ambiguous stance on vaccines, coupled with the significant workforce cuts at HHS, has left many worried about the future of public health in the United States.